rose and bloom. Okay, I'm sorry. I was reading something else you wrote. Let me minimize my screen so I'm not distracted by anything else. All right. What was the most challenging aspect of the legacy from a writer's standpoint for you? The most challenging part as a writer? Keeping things fresh. You know, legacies are long. It's 10 generations of the same daggone thing. I know I've said this a lot on the forums, but um, for those of you who don't frequent there, a lot of us say that legacies are, guy isn't. I say guy because mine was a patriarchy, but guy, girl, whatever. Um, guy gets inspired to buy a piece of land and start this really, really great, family dynasty. Guy meets girl, guy falls in love with girl, guy marries girl, guy has kids with girl. Those kids grow up, meet girl, get married, and those kids, grow up, get married, have kids, and wash, rinse, repeat. It's the same thing over and over and over and over. And if you're not careful, you can let that discourage isn't the word I want to use, but it's the only one that's come to mind. You can let that kind of deter you from continuing the thing because it's so long. And so probably the most challenging thing was finding different ways to say the same thing. How many different ways can you ask someone to marry you? How many different ways can you announce that you're pregnant? How many different ways, you know, you know? So yeah, I think that was probably the most challenging thing. I mean, sure, there were things that I struggled with, but consistently, I'd probably say, how do I keep this fresh? And not just for the storytelling aspect, but how do I keep it fresh for myself? You know, um, yes, I never thought about quitting, but there were times in the story where it was getting kind of old. And a lot of times that's where a lot of drama came up from. But, still, like, how do I keep it fresh for me so I can keep writing? So, yeah, keeping it fresh was probably the most challenging part as a writer. What about as a player? Ooh, I never thought about that. What's the most challenging part of playing a legacy? Maybe trying to keep the balance between writing and playing. Um, yeah. So I don't play every day. I don't have the time. Um, so pretty much I play a lot on the weekends. Like I play on a Friday or Saturday night for like hours and hours and hours and hours. Um, and I guess the struggle was to make myself stop playing because it's so fun. Um, okay, last summer, I don't remember if I put yeah, I think I put a post about this to you guys, but last summer I couldn't stop playing because it was just so fun, and I was like at a really really what part was that? Was that Julian and Jeanette? No, that was Devin and Liliana and somebody. Anyway, that part of the story was so fun, and I couldn't stop playing with it because so I kept playing and kept playing and kept playing and kept playing and kept playing. And I had gotten so far ahead, it was unmanageable. And it didn't help at the time. I was trying to do this calendar thing. You guys remember that? I'm so sorry. First of all, someone told me, this was after I brought the Pruitts back on a daily basis. Somebody told me that when I went from posting every day to posting like every week or twice a week or something like that, that it felt like I took the Pruitts away from you guys. And I didn't think about it that way. I was just trying to do what I felt was right for me in my schedule, and because I was writing 4 stories at the time. I don't recommend that. So I was just trying to keep myself organized, and I wasn't thinking about you at all, and I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry for that. But anyway, I wasn't posting every day, and so I kept playing, and I guess it's finally time for me to admit how many chapters I was ahead because I kept telling you guys I'm not going to say, but in June I had chapters scheduled through September. Like chapters every day scheduled through September, and I didn't even have them all written yet. That's how many chapters I was ahead. So as a player, the most challenging part was to not play when I needed to be writing. She has a message from her cat. It's a word I can't even read because cats can't type. But thank you, Mr. Mustache Face, for sending me a question. I don't know what the cat's name is, but I call him Mr. Mustache Face, Mr. Half Mustache Face. Anyway, this is still from A Rose in Bloom. Did you learn any life lessons from the Pruitts? Did anything happen? Did anything that happened in the game actually help you with things going on in your own world? No. No. I say this a lot when I answer questions from Kathy T, because that's a very Kathy T like question. Because Kathy is a very introspective type person all the time. I am, but I'm not all the time. And so when I get questions like that, I'm like, I don't think about my life when I'm playing the game. But it's so cool that a lot of you do. Um, Life lessons from the Pruitts. No. A lot of the situations that I did write about were not from my own experience because my life is kind of boring, which is good in a lot of ways because I don't like drama. But and I'm the type, I like to learn from other people's life experiences. So, you know, I don't think I learned any life lessons. I kind of just expanded on life lessons I had already learned, I guess, I suppose. If you're thinking of anything in particular, let me know because I'm not I'm not I'm not recalling anything. Not saying that you do know something, but in case you had something in mind, I'm curious to know what you're thinking about.